Today, we're going to be exploring creating and maintaining radiant health. And we're going to focus a lot today on the autonomic nervous system. The monographs refer to the autonomic nervous system as being similar to a psychic nervous system with our psychic energy. And some other traditions believe that the autonomic nervous system is the subconscious. The autonomic nervous system consists of two divisions, the sympathetic nervous system and the parasympathetic nervous system. And you may already be familiar with the responses that come from each of these areas. For the sympathetic, it responds to threats. So when there is a threat, we either fight our way out of it, or we flee, or if we can't get away, we freeze. And when our system perceives a threat, it will increase our heart rate, it will elevate our blood pressure and respiration, our pupils dilate, all of this so that we can escape from the threat. The parasympathetic system is related to rest and digest. So it slows things down and brings a state of calm to the body. Some of the functions associated with the parasympathetic system are that it increases digestive enzymes, relaxes our muscles, decreases our heart rate. The hypothalamus is the brain of the autonomic nervous system. We have what we typically call our brain, which is the controller of the cerebral spinal system. And then we have the hypothalamus, which is the brain of the autonomic nervous system. Now, it's not just the hypothalamus that's responsible for directing this whole system. It's helped by our psychic centers, especially the pituitary and pineal glands and those psychic centers. One of our monographs shares that the best way to maintain good health is to submit one's physical self to the spiritual self. To submit one's physical self to the spiritual self. In other words, to replace the cerebrospinal nervous system, or to place, in other words, to place the cerebral spinal nervous system at the disposal of the autonomic nervous system. We can program our autonomic nervous system to create chemicals through our thoughts. So we can maintain certain thoughts, and this programs our autonomic nervous system to create chemicals, to create hormones and all kinds of things that influence us. This is through our thoughts. We have survival emotions, for example, fear, anger, frustration, and we have elevated emotions like joy and gratitude and love. Elevated emotions create elevated thoughts. So we can influence our autonomic nervous system through our thoughts, and elevated emotions create elevated thoughts. They actually rewire our brain to create a new picture in our minds. We've seen videos showing new neuronal pathways and connections being created. So our thoughts rewire our brain to create a picture in our mind. And then the pituitary gland sends hormones to our heart, which can create heart coherence. And then the autonomic nervous system is in charge. So again, elevated emotions create elevated thoughts. And some elevated emotions include joy and love and gratitude. And elevated thoughts rewire our brain to create a new picture in our mind. Then the pituitary gland sends hormones to our heart, which can create heart coherence, and then the autonomic nervous system is in charge. The autonomic nervous system regulates order in our being and health in our body. This is how important this system is. It regulates order and health in our being. It makes chemicals to signal hormones based on our thoughts. So we have a thought, it creates a chemical, which creates a hormone. We can broadcast this throughout our body by creating coherence in every cell, by focusing on the psychic energy in every cell. We're going to do this in a little while. And we can create coherence beyond our body and space, beyond our body and our immediate space, to create a new state of being or our presence. The ancient Egyptians had a word for the presence that we bring into the world. They called it the Ba. The ancient Egyptians believed that there were 9 aspects to our soul. There was the Ba, which is the presence that we bring with us everywhere we go. It's our vibrational frequency. And once we meet with someone else, there is an interchange, there's an exchange of our energy. When we meet someone, we're never the same again after that. We've been influenced by their energy and frequency, and we influence them with our frequency. This is connected to our higher self and our higher frequency. The monographs state that we are beings of energy swimming in an ocean of energy or consciousness. We are beings of energy. You know, if we just keep going deeper and deeper, we are beings of energy and information. When you just keep going deeper, that's what we have. We are beings of energy swimming in an ocean of energy or consciousness. The monographs also state, when perfect contact is established with the higher planes of cosmic consciousness, our whole being vibrates at a frequency that is totally integrated within the octaves of the spiritual manifestation. So again, when perfect contact is established with the higher planes of cosmic consciousness, our whole being vibrates at a frequency that is totally integrated within the octaves of the spiritual manifestation. And we're not going to focus on this today. I just want to mention, though, that this is also the basis for manifesting things. When we have a contact with the higher planes of cosmic consciousness. H. Spencer Lewis emphasized this when he shared visualization techniques, that there are the usual 3 dimensions. We have height and space, and height and depth and width. And then there is a 4th dimension, and that is the vibrational nature. And when we attune with the vibrational frequency of what it is we want to manifest, including the health that we want to manifest in our being, when we attune with that in this vibrational field before it's manifested, our thoughts activate it into manifestation. The ancient Egyptians called that field of pure potentiality before something is manifest, before something's manifested in our universe, it exists as potential in a magical realm that they called the Amdwat, A-M-D-W-A-T. And this is the field of pure potential. Anything can exist there. And we have an opportunity to raise our vibrations so that they vibrate at the same frequency as radiant health, for example. There are many techniques given in the Rosicrucian teachings for working with our autonomic nervous system and with our vagal nerves. The vagus nerve, typically it's called the vagus nerve, but there are two of them. So it's really the vagal nerves are the main nerves of the parasympathetic nervous system. And this controls things like heart rate, the immune system, digestion. These are all involuntary. We don't consciously control them. For example, we don't consciously control our digestion. We don't eat and then say, okay, release those enzymes and move the food through. So there is a system that does that for us. And the vagus nerve or the vagal nerves, they are the main nerves of this system. And we can practice techniques that reset our body's healing, our body's well-being. The vagus nerves function like our body's natural reset button. We can tone the vagus nerve through many different techniques, and we're going to practice 3 of them now. The first one is very simple. It's just to pull down on our earlobes. The vagus nerve goes from our brain down to our gut, goes through our throat, and it touches many of the major organs and glands. It goes through there, and there's a little peripheral nerve that we can stimulate by pulling our earlobes down. And just doing that helps to stimulate and create tone in the vagal nerves. There is another technique that creates vagal tone, and this is humming or singing or chanting. Again, the vagal nerves go down through our throat, so we're physically stimulating them when we chant. And we're going to do this now. We're going to intone the vowel sound om 3 times. Ready? Inhale. Oh. 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 Now, close your eyes if they aren't already closed, and we're going to practice another technique that creates tone in the vagus nerve, and this is focusing on our breath in a particular way. We will inhale through our nose, and then we'll take a long exhalation through pursed lips. So purse your lips, and it'll be a long exhalation. And as you do that exhalation the first time, mentally say 1. When you do the exhalation the second time, mentally say 2, and go up to 10. We're going to do this for a couple of minutes. So in through your nostrils, then a long exhalation through pursed lips, and mentally say 1. We'll do this for a couple of minutes. When you're ready, open your eyes and make a mental note of how you're feeling. Another way that we can create a healthy autonomic nervous system and tone the vagal nerves is through music. The heart sends much more information to the brain than it receives. Let me say that again. The heart sends much more information to the brain than it receives, including signals that can influence perception, emotional experience, and higher mental processes. There's a man named Barry Goldstein who is a composer and he's knowledgeable about the science of the effect that music has on our being. And he says, we have the ability to entrain to specific frequencies and tempos. Entrainment is when an internal rhythm synchronizes with an external rhythm. For example, in this case, our heart is the internal rhythm and music is the external rhythm. So our heart synchronizes with the music. We can play music at 60 beats per minute to entrain our heart to a relaxed state. We can also slow down or speed up our brain waves using brain entrainment technologies to target calmer or more focused states. And ancient cultures knew this when they would have drum beats in ancient cultures to create certain states. H. Spencer Lewis wrote about this in a different way. He said, the attunement of the psychic centers with the musical notes is such that when the proper note is played upon a piano, violin, or any other instrument, or sung by the human voice, the psychic centers respond to that note by vibrating either in attunement with it or in harmonic attunement with it. Unconsciously, a great many persons have become attracted to certain songs that they find themselves humming or singing many times a day. Usually they think it is because they like the tune or like the melody or perhaps like the words. And H. Spencer Lewis writes, the fact of the matter is they have unconsciously noticed that the music is soothing or beneficial to the nervous system, perhaps to the entire system, and that is why they continuously sing or hum such songs. These songs become almost like theme songs to one's life. Every now and then, a new song will supplant one of the old ones, but a careful analysis will show that the new one has many of the same strains or groups of notes that the older one had. There is technology that can help us to track our heart coherence. We can wear a sensor on our ear, around our wrist, or around our chest, and it connects with an app that tells us if we're having heart coherence, if this music resonates in our being, as H. Spencer Lewis was speaking about. And I have tested a lot of music to see what creates heart coherence for me. And it's not necessarily the same music that would create heart coherence for you. We're going to listen to a piece that was composed by Antonio Vivaldi, and it's performed by Itzhak Perlman and the London Philharmonic Orchestra and Israel Philharmonic Orchestra. It's a little less than 3 minutes long. This is the Four Seasons, Concerto Number 1 in E major, Spring, Largo. So I invite you to close your eyes and we'll listen to this music now. So we can listen to music that creates heart coherence, that affects our brain waves and the energy vibrating in every cell. And I know that all of us have experienced that at some point. Now we're going to prepare for some exercises that we'll do in a few moments. The first will be the rebalancing exercises, where we balance negative and positive energy. And this doesn't mean good and bad, it's just a polarity. So to stimulate the negative energy, the negative polarity, we breathe out completely and hold our breath while the lungs are empty. And then when we breathe in, we don't hold our breath. And again, we'll do that in a few minutes. So first is the negative. We exhale completely. We hold our breath while the lungs are empty. We breathe in. We don't hold our breath. On the inhalation, we breathe right out again. And then we will do the breathing for positive. The monographs point out that all of our health challenges are caused by an energy imbalance, and this meditation helps to balance. So we inhale completely, we hold our breath for as long as is comfortable, and when we exhale, we don't hold our breath. We breathe right back in again. So again, we'll do this in a moment. Sympathetic energy is a psychic energy that is permanently generated by all the psychic centers and channeled into the two chains of ganglia by the hypothalamus, the region of the brain that I mentioned governs the autonomic nervous system. Rosicrucian healing consists of using the sympathetic energy to stimulate positively or negatively the ganglion that is linked to an affected organ or body part. So we do this with different techniques that we have the energy come through our first two fingers and our thumb, and we place our hands then on certain places next to these ganglion. We can also do that with our entire being through the negative and positive rebalancing exercise. So we're going to do that in a moment. And then we'll take 3 deep breaths. And this helps to change our awareness, to pull us out of an intellectual state of being. Then we'll focus on the breath, like we just did. This signals the autonomic nervous system that everything is okay. So our system is looking, are there any threats? And when we have relaxed respiration, when our heart rate is calm, then the autonomic nervous system is not sensing any threats. So we're telling our whole system, everything's fine. I'm able to sit here and just breathe normally. I'm not preparing for fight or flight or freezing. So when we do this, we will breathe in through the nostrils and a long exhalation through pursed lips. And research has shown that the pursing of the lips deepens the experience that we have of this harmony within the autonomic nervous system. So again, in through the nose, and then a longer exhalation through pursed lips. Then we're going to do the overall exercise, which is an exercise to awake the psychic consciousness in all the cells of our body. And this is vibrating in the nucleus of every cell. Remember, I mentioned the ancient Egyptians saw this as our ba. This is our frequency. Positive breathing stimulates the positive polarity of the vital life force. So when we do the overall exercise, we will do positive breathing. Stay relaxed while doing this. Don't think, okay, I'm moving from my feet to my head, and now I have to focus on whether I'm doing positive breathing or not. Just let it all flow. If you can focus on holding your breath while your lungs are full, and then not holding your breath when your lungs are empty, great. But mostly we're focusing on the energy throughout our being, in the psychic energy in our cells. So to begin, please sit in whatever way is most comfortable for you, keeping in mind that if the spine is straight but not rigid, that it keeps us from scrunching our psychic centers, including if we're not straight, the liver's right under the rib cage. So that can get pinched there. Gets everything flowing, and it gets those ganglion on each side of the spine flowing openly and smoothly. So close your eyes. Now let's take 3 deep breaths, becoming more relaxed with each exhalation. To begin, we're going to focus on the negative polarity of our energy. So just for a little while, take a deep negative breath, meaning you exhale completely, hold your breath while the lungs are empty. And when you inhale, don't hold your breath. So just some negative breathing for a little while. Now we're going to balance that with some positive breathing. So deep breaths, hold your breath while your lungs are full, and don't hold your breath on the exhalation. Now resume normal breathing. Now we're going to focus on the technique we did earlier, where we'll breathe in through the nose, and when we exhale, we'll have the air go out of our mouth through pursed lips, and the exhalation will be longer than the inhalation was. And each time mentally say 1, and then the second exhalation 2. And we'll do this for several rounds. So you'll get to 10 and then start over with 1 again. Now focus your attention on a tiny vibrating cell in your left big toe. Feel the energy vibrating here. Expand your awareness to feel the energy vibrating in your entire left foot. Now focus on a tiny cell in your right big toe. Feel its vibrating energy. Expand your awareness to your entire right foot. Now, your left lower leg. Your right lower leg. Your left upper leg. Your right upper leg. Your hips. Your abdomen. Your chest. Now feel the energy vibrating in the fingers on your left hand. Expand your awareness to your entire left hand. Now focus your awareness on the energy vibrating in the fingers on your right hand. And expand your awareness to your entire right hand. Your left forearm. Your right forearm. Your left upper arm. Your right upper arm. Now focus your attention on the energy vibrating at the base of your spine. As you draw your awareness up your spine, be aware of the energy vibrating in your lower back, your middle back, your upper back, your shoulders, your neck, your jaw, your mouth, your ears, your nose, your eyes, your forehead, the top of your head. Now focus your awareness gently on your heart center. See it as a beautiful, radiant, yellow energy vibrating in perfect harmony. See this beautiful energy radiating out from your heart center throughout your entire being, to your toes and your fingertips, communicating to your brain, affecting your brain waves, radiating to the top of your head. See this energy expanding beyond your physical body into the field of energy surrounding your body. You're a being of energy swimming in an ocean of energy or consciousness, communicating with it and being nourished by it. Healing, loving, coherent energy touching every part of your being. For the next few minutes, just bathe in this nourishment. Know that every cell of your being has been touched in perfect coherence. So mote it be.